I think that was amazing.
I just can't.
Okay, welcome to our new look. Your aunties could never. Oh, yeah. This is temporary measures, don't worry. But anyway, hi guys, welcome. How are you liking our new look? Please comment. This is Your Aunties Could Never, episode 28, everybody. I'm Auntie AK and I'm here with...
Is it 28 or 29? Did we do 28 last week?
Okay, but 29 then.
I am Auntie Farah, but I feel like 29.
Fine. It could be 28 or 29. Doesn't matter. We'll work it out.
I'm Auntie Nana.
And I'm Auntie Sade.
Hi, everybody. Hi, my aunties.
Hello.
First of all, how are you all?
Okay.
Good.
Good. I thought it was a 28 for Auntie Farah.
Yeah, it's because you did something and you said 28 on the
other week.
Yeah, so I was like, okay, you were right. It's 28 today.
Episode 28.
We're not quite nearly 30.
Thank you. We're still in our 20s. How is everybody? Everybody?
Good.
Yeah, good. Busy, but good.
Yeah. We've all had busy weeks. What was I going to say? Auntie Farah, who are you welcome? No, sorry, my bad. Guys, sorry, allow me. Auntie Nana, who are you welcoming into Your Aunties Could Never family this week?
Okay, so this week, an honourable mention goes to Uncle Tyler Perry for making it into the Billionaires Club. Yeah, as controversial as Tyler Perry is, really he's done a lot from his humble beginnings to being a billionaire and creating jobs and wealth for so many Black people. So we salute Uncle Tyler Perry.
Whoop, whoop. Uncle Tyler.
Uncle Tyler, hats off to you.
And Auntie Mardia.
Mardia? What's with you?
Medea, man.
Medea.
Mardia.
No.
Medea.
What?
Yeah.
No, I'm confused with it. Like, Family Guy, where what does he say? He says like whip, or he says whip or something really strangely. The little, what's the kid? Stewie. Yeah, he just changes that words. That's you. That's
Stewie.
What do you think? Whip or something. Like he says, that's you.
Auntie Mardia.
Yeah.
Mardia, like who?
Who says that? As an American thing.
Yeah, in America, Mardia. It just came out like, okay, Madea. See, Madea sounds weird to me.
Oh, it's Medea.
It's Medea.
Medea. No, I know what it is. But
Doesn't sound like
no,
it.
we say ma, like, hey ma. You don't say ma or it's hey ma. So I say Madea.
No.
Okay, what have you heard, guys?
Okay.
Okay, what have you heard, Auntie Sade?
Okay, right. So, Joe Budden, a bit of a controversial character. We're putting aside at the moment his current allegations for wife beatery against Tahiri. Putting that aside at the moment because he's saying that they beat each other, kind of thing. So we don't know what's going on there at the moment. We're putting that aside, but he's a controversial guy. And he's got a big mouth. He talks a lot. He has a podcast. He gets paid to talk. So, do you know what I mean? He's putting it to good use. And he is currently very vocal about his, he's disgruntled with Spotify. So he's been on the Joe Budden Show podcast has been on Spotify for the last 2 years. And it turns out that they keep moving the goalposts. So in the beginning, they said, oh, you can have a look at data, do you know what I mean? They were totally transparent. And slowly but surely, all the people that he set up the deal with, they left the company or be reassigned, and the powers that be are changing the goalposts of what they're supposed to do. So they were supposed to, get a bonus when they hit certain numbers, etc., kind of thing. That didn't happen. They haven't taken a proper break, like holiday, in the time. And they've got maybe about 5 shows left at the moment. And he's basically saying, you will not see me on this platform again, because these guys are basically exploiting me. They're changing the goalposts. It's not about the money. We built this. We've been number one for how long? I own the IP. You should be coming to me with really decent deals. So my question is, do you think that platforms like this exploit black culture? And if so, is there any way out of this kind of cycle?
Can I go first?
Sure.
Yeah, so I interviewed a woman called Renee Richardson, who is a founder of Broccoli Content, a podcast that produces other podcasts. She did one with Renee Edo-Lodge, who did the author of Why I'm No Longer Speaking to Black People About Race. And they had like a 9-series podcast about race, different racial topics. And she was talking about the origins, because she got into the game, the podcasting game, quite early, before it was as oversaturated as it is now. And she said when she first started, it was a bit more creative, free thinking, and there was kind of like an entrepreneurial ownership of it, where especially black creatives who had felt edged out of the radio space could find this newfound freedom in curating their own content, producing their own content, and being in control of their own content. But then she said, lo and behold, the powers that be from the radio side of things, this is even before Spotify and other places get involved, they started to kind of enforce their might and start to sweep up and grab up all the creatives to kind of have them under their umbrella to get more power. And I think this is just a typical power play where these top line industries have all the resources, all the finances to just dominate a space and then make it really hard for creatives to have their own freedom. I'm going to have to pause and come back to it. But there was another situation that I read where another company was just like edging out the market, or trying to dominate the market. And it's like that whole thing about free trade and fair trade and free, is it free trade or fair trade? Fair trade, that everyone can just, be in a space and equally. And obviously there's going to be hierarchy about who does better, but it should just be a level playing field. If you're better at it, fine. But these things that put the squeeze on creatives, especially black culture and black creatives, where our culture is so lucrative and viable and loved by everybody and accessible by everybody. When these organizations see it and see that it's lucrative, they just jump on it and then snap it up for themselves. It is like modern day slavery. I don't know how, because it's about ownership and being able to keep ownership. And I think, but the problem is it's across all industries. When a few people take a stand against the industry, the industry can always find someone else to kind of replace the person that's taken a stand. So it's always like and I'm not going to say that just for black people, I'm sure it's for all groups that, have some sort of power on, there's always a few people that will go on and we'll do it. So they don't really respect it, but everyone needs to be on the same page and kind of lobby in one kind of footing. And
yeah. I admire the stance that he's taken, really. Like, I think Joe Budden owning his podcast and really making a lane for himself. And from what he's saying, it is like Spotify just wanted to own. They wanted to take over. So basically they wanted to purchase it from him, where he's like, no, I want shares in this new revenue stream, as he was one of the first podcasts that got signed up by them. So I think it's important that you keep your integrity and the value of your product. And especially where he's come from music, it makes sense that he's going to be way more cautious for that model to be implemented again in a free creative space. I definitely think as black people, we have to be really cautious to not just accept a paycheck from these people, because then it's like, the 2 gay guys, Ricky Thompson.
Oh yeah,
Denzel. Yeah, Denzel. I can't remember what Denzel's surname is, but
Dion.
Denzel Dion. And, they are so popular on Instagram, you know that they have a market, you know that they have an audience, and you're giving them a paycheck. Really, they should have been looking to create their podcast.
Yeah.
And then you want a share in somebody's platform, not that they can purchase you, because then it's not yours, it's theirs. So I admire Joe for taking this stand. Really do admire him. It was disappointing that Charlamagne criticised him for it as another black man.
Why
I think it's important.
Sorry, what did he say?
Behind people. Charlamagne was like, this is a Joe problem. Because you know Joe walks out on deals. Like he kind of cuts contracts. But then if the contract is a bit of slavery, I think it's good that somebody is there to be like, I ain't working with you. Like, he's not prepared to be sold. And for Charlamagne to openly on the Breakfast Club say, like, I think this is a Joe problem because he keeps on having these issues. I think that's problematic. Like, we should, even if you think that, I feel like that should be a private conversation that you have with your friends. Like, you don't say it outwardly, especially criticizing another black man when he's taken a stance. Similarly as Monique, people openly criticizing her for taking Netflix and Oprah and Tyler Perry to task. I think it should have been like, let's watch where this goes instead of shutting somebody down before you know the full details of the case.
That's fair.
It's just about the importance of ownership again, isn't it? We've all seen what happened with Nick Cannon and Wildin' Out, and the fact that he didn't own that, despite that everybody thought that he did. We can see where that's going now, and I think he's attempting to sue them to try and get the rights to it back. This is the whole reason why. Well, it is the whole reason why Jay-Z created Tidal, so there was a space where black people could own or have a percentage of their property. I'm not saying there's not issues with Tidal, because there is, but it goes back to the whole thing of, we need to own our own, and we need to support those within our own community that do own their own. That's the only way that we're going to progress. That's what everybody else does. So why shouldn't we? And I second what you said. I think that it's a brilliant thing that he is calling them out. Why shouldn't he? If it was anybody else calling them out, no one would have a problem with it. It'd be like, yeah, that's right. But because it's Joe Budden, and he's had potentially issues before, people are making the thing of it. But he's absolutely right. He should be entitled to the right deal. In terms of what Charlamagne said, I just feel like you said, keep that to yourself. We don't need these outhouse arguments, do we? Not about stuff like this. There's certain things that you have. They know each other. You can call the man up and say, do you know what? Yeah, like, what is it? Is it you? You don't need to go on your platform and tear down somebody else. I think that is an issue that we just all need to get better at. When I say we, I mean we as a people need to get better at, because it's not helping nobody. It's about building each other up, not about knocking people down for them fighting what they believe in.
Sade.
So obviously Joe did respond to Charlamagne and basically just said, like, you know what, just be quiet. I'm going to do the nice version. Just be quiet and stop interrupting me. Actually, I think stop interrupting me is a direct quote. And I just thought, okay, do you know what I mean? Like, I think he's within his right to have that energy with Charlamagne, because like what you guys are saying, like, Joe is trying to open doors. He's trying to change the playing field. And actually, even if he is doing it from a selfish point of view, which I don't think he is, it does affect everybody. Do you know what I mean? Especially like the hundreds and probably thousands of creators on platforms like Spotify. And let's just remember, like, Spotify only has like a tenth of the market. Do you know what I mean? So if they're doing this, then really and truly, like, what is the value? We can see, like, the music industry is kind of dying. It's cannibalizing itself. They need to keep people on the platform. Podcasts are a number one way to do that. Do you know what I mean? And they're doing 2 podcasts a week. Like, of course, I would be enraged if they wasn't, do you know what I mean? Like, wanting to offer me a used Rolex. Are you crazy? Do you know what I mean? Like, seriously, I'm surprised he's not more fuming than he is. And actually, without the cussing, he was handling it with grace and stuff. Yeah. So, Charlamagne, I don't know. Like, I feel like this is the same with Dame Dash. Yeah, do you know what I mean? I think it's the same sort of thing. Like, unfortunately, Dame Dash, another guy, a bit problematic, but his message about, he went to Breakfast Club, and he's just like, you have to answer to your boss, and do you know what I mean? And it's true. It's true. Yeah. It's true. And all Joe is doing is trying to avoid that. He's like, no, that doesn't work for me. I'm not going to do that. You know, he's not even cussing people out who do work. Do you know what I mean? He's not doing that. He's just saying it doesn't work for me. And actually, as another black king, you should be trying to aspire to the same thing.
Exactly.
I don't think there's anything wrong with what that messaging at all. And more of us do need to own stuff and understand our rights, especially when you're under that pressure. But I did think, sorry, I'm talking a little bit, but I did think that it was interesting. One point he did bring up in his podcast is about, you know, all the bad deals out there and understanding what position people were in when they accepted those deals. So it's not necessarily about cussing them, it's like understanding. Because, you know, he mentioned some guy, but I don't remember his name, but like, you know, he's got 29 siblings. So of course you're going to take the deal. Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, not everyone comes from a space of privilege, you know? Not everyone starts, you know, late in their career. Some people are quite young and, you know, they need the money now. So you can understand why they do them. So I think people need to have a bit more compassion in those moments. But yeah.
Yeah, you're right. That's happened in basketball and stuff like that as well. Well, all sports really, where some people have just taken the deal because they got to eat and they got people to. So you're absolutely right. People shouldn't be judged if that's what they do, because we don't know their full circumstances.
But information just needs to be more readily available. And as Joe Budden and Dame Dashes of the world are talking, that's how you start to understand people. Because people, like, again, you are taking a lot of, not to disparage anybody, but a lot of people from our communities that get into these creative spaces are coming from backgrounds that aren't lucrative. We don't have that, I keep saying lucrative today, we don't have that kind of family generational wealth, not all of us. So it is a lot of it. You don't know what you don't know. And it's easy when you're hearing from your peers who've been there, done that. This is what we're talking about, legacy building. When the peers who've been there before are paving the way for the young people to come forward. So this is exactly what Joe Budden and the like in his, you know, Charlamagne is doing this kind of rebranding of himself. So he should, I'm a bit surprised at him doing that and just going for the cheap laugh or the cheap cuss, because he's been on a rebrand and he's learned on his journey and he's been trying to aspire to teach people. So putting all stuff aside, what's the importance? What's the importance here?
But he's still been an employee for 10 years.
Exactly.
And so that mentality is still going to be in there. You know, those hurdles where we really don't value our worth, like really what they have done with the Breakfast Club, one of them or all three of them should own that, because that's like a cultural iconic show that has interviewed absolutely everybody. And the fact that that is owned by iHeart, that they have that property, that's actually quite disgusting, because your labor has produced that. That is, you know, Charlamagne getting punched in the face twice. Apparently, as Envy says, people pulling out knives on him, but nobody's corroborated this story. But, you know, all of that stuff, you should own it. It shouldn't be that a corporate has this property. And when you think of Vlad, who, again, DJ Vlad, anyway, like Vlad owns Vlad TV. And again, he's interviewed so many people. So he cottoned onto that very quickly, that this is my property. And yeah, we need more people like that.
And I'll quickly say, if you have got the boss, you've got to know that your worth, like you said, you have to understand your worth. And so I just wanted to throw in a really silly Devil Wears Prada reference, because when Miranda's about thinks that when it's going to be set up that she's got to go, she pivots that and uses her power to make sure, like, if I leave, I'm taking every single contact and person that you know with me, and the culture that I built, the trends that I set. No one's going to come back to your magazine. So that, I mean, this is a film, but it's, you know, life.
It's true. That's how it works. Like, everything works in relationships at the end of the day. And, like, you know, if they did leave, there probably would be a gaping hole in. But the thing is, with the Breakfast Club, they like to be honest. Yeah, Charlamagne. He's so powerful. Do you know what I mean? And he literally built that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
No disrespect to the rest of them, but you could kind of swap out those people. Do you know what I mean? But Charlamagne, he is like the anchor of it. Do you know what I mean? So I feel like, you know, I don't know. People have different mindsets. Not everyone's going to be a boss. I do understand that, like, you know, but I do think, like, where you can't be, look at other options though, bro, and look at other options in your community. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, try that, I think.
Are we moving on to the next thing? Or do we have anything?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, quiet today. Guys, you right? Everybody good? Tatiana, what have you heard?
Okay, so my story is Jessica Krug. Is that how we pronounce her name? Is it Krug?
I'm not going to speak about pronunciation again.
Okay, so Jessica Krug, the latest transracial person who has been outed. I'm using that term. I quite like it. We can discuss that as well.
Stand it.
Okay. Transracial.
It legitimizes what they're trying to do.
Or just a fraud.
Yes.
Let's discuss. Yes. Actually, you know what? There's so many. There's so many think pieces on it. Actually, let's discuss that point. Is she transracial or is she just a fraud?
Come on.
Also,
she thing as transracial. There isn't. I'm sorry. No.
No.
Have it. No, get your question, first of all. Get your question out, and then we can discuss.
Okay. I do think it's a point to discuss in that transracial or fraudulent, but also what's come to light so far is that she isn't going to be teaching classes this semester. She hasn't been directly sacked yet. It is under review, her position within George Washington University. I'm hoping that you guys have read her full exposure of herself and her also saying that she's cancelled herself. But it's also come to light that the only reason why she did write that letter in Medium was because she was about to be exposed by two black academics who were going to go to the university. So let's just discuss all of the points with people fraudulently taking black jobs and performing as black activists when they're not black or Latina. What do you guys think?
Auntie Sade, you want to go?
I honestly, I am so sick and tired of these people. Like, it's so infuriating. It's hard enough. Do you know what I mean? And it's just like, it's like the epitome of privilege to play dress up and get paid for it and deceive everyone around you. Like, as far as I'm concerned, if she is of sound mind, then she needs to be dashed under the jail. Yes. Just dash her. Seriously, because what are you doing? Like, it is fraud upon fraud upon fraud, and then you're just deceiving everyone around you. And then I just think, oh mate, maybe this is even more sinister than that. Because why are you even going into that subject matter? Are you alright? Like, seriously, I don't know. Sorry, I'm actually getting stressed. I cannot. I just cannot fathom people like this. If she's of sound mind, to be honest, I don't think she's of sound mind. I don't think anyone can be of sound mind and do something like this.
Auntie Farah?
It's modern day blackface. That's what it is. It's modern day blackface. It's wrong. She's getting paid to impersonate a black person. It's just wrong. I don't understand why she needs to do it. Like Auntie Sade said, it is the epitome of white privilege, because I can't go around saying, I identify as white. And also, I'd like to ask her this question. When the man comes with the lynch rope, what are you going to say? Are you going to say, actually, I'm white? Mm-hmm. Because if you're able to do that, you know you're doing wrong. You shouldn't be doing that. She needs to. It's just wrong. She needs to be done for fraud. It's as everyone said, as Auntie Sade said, it's hard enough already for us to get anywhere in life and to have these opportunities to us. For it to be taken away from us is just disgusting. And the term transracial is offensive to people who are transgender, and it's because it's not the same thing. It's not. You can't be transracial. You can't tell me you identify as a different race. I'm sorry, you can't. Your race is your race is your race is your race, and that's it.
I mean, obviously, I read it, and it was just like, oh, come on. And the thing is, there's a few things that were flagged, but the conversation I saw on Twitter was, and definitely I agree with it, this idolization of light and white people in our space in the black community. That means we just kind of close our eyes and pretend and accept so much into our space. And it's a bit like, she doesn't even look mixed race. Like, you're trying it. I think her natural hair is even blonde, but her hair looks like a bad dye job. She doesn't look mixed. She doesn't, and maybe Afro-Latina, so maybe she tried to stick the Afro on top of it and maybe wear a bit of bronzer, so maybe you could think she's Latina, but she just doesn't look that way. And so why did anyone believe it? Same with just Rachel Dolezal. Rachel does not look mixed race at all. But how did people just accept that and welcome them so readily into the culture? That's what infuriates me. And she's not the first or last. You had Mindy Kaling's brother who applied for uni in America to get in because he realised his grades weren't hacking it as an Indian guy. So he decided to pretend to be black and applied. And
I didn't hear about that.
I never knew that.
Mindy Kaling's brother in 2015. So basically, he said he posed as a black man years ago to get into medical school, and that the experience opened his eyes to what he calls the hypocrisy of affirmative action. And so he said he hatched the plan in 1998 after realizing in college that his grades weren't going to be good enough as an Indian American. So he says, in quote, "I shaved my head, trimmed my long Indian eyelashes, and applied to medical school as a black man."
Did he say he trimmed his long Indian eyelashes?
Eyelashes are Indian. They're specifically, your eyelashes have a texture, don't they?
And my change in appearance was so startling that my own fraternity brothers didn't recognize me at first. And he said he joined an organization for black students and applied to schools using his middle name, Jojo. So, and people he said he experienced racism, and all this type of stuff. I can't remember how it was revealed and all that stuff. He was exposed and it all came out. And Mindy Kaling, I don't even know if she actually came out and apologized on behalf of her brother. I mean, that's the epitome of having shameful siblings when you're in the public eye. And we have another person like Sean King, who's a very renowned political activist in the black community, civil rights activist, but he claims he's mixed race, and a lot of people say, no, you're not. And he's been very problematic, and people accuse him of capitalizing of every single black cause going. He's very vocal, and it's a gift and a curse, because he is probably like Rachel Dolezal, who was a civil rights activist in the NAACP, doing good work under this guise. However, you're capitalizing and making money and taking money from schemes because you are perceived to be black. So Sean King. Sorry.
What is his background then?
So basically, in his legacy, he says it's down as him being white, right? But then apparently his mum said, actually, no, your dad's a black man. So it's based on his mum telling him that his dad's a black man, and he's like 1/10 or something, or quarter black apparently. But people have been disputing his background for many, many, many years. And he does look a bit like a John B. So I just don't even know. However, the recent thing was, I think it was Ahmaud Arbery or George Floyd or someone who's recently passed. He did a post saying, no, sorry, Chadwick Boseman When Chadwick Boseman passed, he got called out for tweeting about Chadwick Boseman, but then underneath the tweet, he managed to slip in his book that he's selling. And people were cussing him, saying, you're just capitalizing. And he came back saying, no, I was alerting people to the fact that Chadwick's passing is so sad. But yet, if you want to do that separate from selling a book, isn't it? If that's what your genuine thing is. So there's a bunch of people out there profiting off black pain and black access. And it is a thing. There's something about manipulation, about how we receive light-skinned people into our community when they're authoritative and are educated, because a lot of I
don't think that's how we receive them. I think that's how society receives them. I think they're put on a pedestal. We don't necessarily put those people on a pedestal. They go into those positions because they know they'll be cherry picked and be the poster person. I think it's biased personally.
Yeah, I understand that, but I just think because we do have a problem with colorism in our community. So there is an element there, because back in the day when we had post-slavery, and I always quote W.E.D. Du Bois and the Talented Tenth, the whole perception that these people who are lighter in complexion, they were seen like the upper class of society and are more educated than the dark-skinned field hands and the people that were seen as lower class. So there is a caste system. And so,
of course.
Yeah, that's why I'm not saying it's the sole.
We didn't create that though, so I don't like the whole.
I'm not blaming it.
No, not blame, but the position of it, like it's coming from us. That's coming from outside our community.
Yeah,
those people are cherry picking those people because
I disagree.
I disagree. There's a reason. If you look at it in terms of like who gets picked to sit on panels and stuff, do you know what I mean? That's not generally picked by someone in our community. That's picked by someone outside our community, and they're going to go to certain type of people. That's why we often see light-skinned people or mixed-race people speaking on our behalf over and over again, like the black equivalent isn't there. It's not true. The black equivalent is there. They just don't get the same opportunities. So that's not coming from us. That's coming from outside of us.
I think
it's twofold.
No, go on.
It's twofold. It happens both ways.
Yeah.
So there's the acceptable mixed race speaker on behalf of black people that white liberals especially, will push forward. They will go to an acceptable toned skinned person. But then within black media as well, black media does exactly the same thing. It's usually like black male driven, because a dark skinned man can still be a pundit, but a dark skinned woman there's a harder fight to especially be on black stations. They would prefer a lighter skinned woman. A lighter skinned woman will be elevated further. So then if you think about within a family structure, actually it probably goes hand in hand for who you're going to listen to have the voice, to think that you can speak on something and not get shut down as being angry. You have to have that confidence inbuilt in you through your family structures to even be able to push yourself forward. We're all perpetuating the same trope so that it happens and it becomes acceptable. And also, just as a dark-skinned person, when you pick up on this or you say that this is a thing, then you get deemed as the angry black woman. So many of us actually just hold our tongue and let this take place. And so then our voices are erased, because I feel like part of going through the systems that everybody's being played into, I think as a mixed race person with the platform to talk, I feel if you are about moving black voices further, you also have to then be pushing black sisters into the conversation. So sometimes you have to take a stand of no and recommend somebody else, because it takes all sides to be fighting this, because there's such a bias for a mixed race voice, which is very different to a black person's experience. Like, you can kind of understand, but you don't know the full weight of it. So I think it's actually really important that you don't take it on to speak on everything, even if you just think of the natural hair experience, that it's mixed race curly hair that is now spoken about like, oh, I'm going natural, when that hair type has always had a modicum of acceptability. But 4C, you're still not having that conversation of this hair is still being oppressed and told to press as well. It's like, we all have to just be honest that all of us are in it. It's not just white people doing this oppressing, like black people in positions of power also keep it going.
I'm not even saying that doesn't exist. Do you know what I mean? I'm not saying that, but I do think that there is by design that that's how the system works. Do you know what I mean? Kind of thing, that lighter skinned people will get the positions, or any kind of positions of power, or be the voice of the people kind of thing. It's by design. That's how they've done it from slavery days. That's how they continue to do it. I just don't think it's changed.
One second. Let Charlie finish.
So that's what I'm saying. But that doesn't come from us. So I get that we recognise the system, but sometimes it's almost, people are put in positions. We're not even consulted. Do you know what I mean? There's not even, so it's just like, how do you even, that is not saying, oh yes, that's what we gravitate to. That's just a product of the system. Do you see what I mean? Like, I just don't. Yeah.
Auntie Farah.
I was just going to say that I think, and I've said this before, I say it all the time, we didn't create this. I'm not saying that we are not responsible for our actions now and we're still continuing it, but we didn't create this. This was a very, very good way of separating us. It was a very good way. You keep, you're better than you. You're better than you. We'll separate you. You don't. You what do they say? Divide and conquer.
Yeah.
So, unfortunately, there are people in this day and age who still believe in those stupid tactics that were done from slavery. It was done to the Indians as well. The whole caste system that was done by the Europeans. We didn't create this problem, is my point. And in terms of representation and who gets put where on media platforms, it is a case of they get picked by certain people. But again, that is perpetuating the whole thing. It's, you're more palatable. Drake, love him or hate him, the reason why he does so well Sorry, I've got to take this call. It's my daughter's school.
Okay,
No worries, go ahead.
go on. And I was going to say, yeah, I don't think we can take the blame of what's happened to us through society from what they implemented in society. But we always talk about racial situations, and we have to speak about it from what we're doing in our community to affect change. And we do have those problems that affect us in a way that we ourselves do some. And actually, I'm going to remove the we. It's actually more black men. I'm sorry, guys, whoever's watching, to come and talk about it. I think black women are a bit more culturally aware and more inclined to cast panels or hire people or get a mixed shade of voices when talking about issues and things in the forefront. It tends to be this patriarchal thing that happens where even when we're talking about black films, all this, everything okay?
Yeah.
Because Auntie Farah's back, I'm thinking everything's okay. She's gone quiet. So like even in films, all these, a lot of our productions, when led by black men, they do that casted, they do that hierarchy, the skin tone hierarchy, where the leading ladies tends to be light skin and stuff like that. So that's the part where we have to do better in recognizing that. Because I definitely don't think we should take the blame of what society has done to us. Absolutely not. But we also have to take responsibility for our inter-community behavior and how we affect change and how, because that's what people do. They call this out because. Yeah. Whoever was brave enough to say, nah, this is looking funny in this light, Miss Jessica Krug and Mindy Kaling's brother and Sean King. We don't know what the consensus is on Sean King, but he definitely has looked very funny. It's like, it's black people that are also keeping him in place as well because they're supporting him. So there's a lot of stuff that we need to unpack about why we're putting people through.
Sorry to interrupt you. I was just going to say, I do agree with that kind of thing, that people who support this nonsense, I'm just not here for them at all. They're part of the problem. Also, as well, I do think I think this is kind of goes across the board in terms of personal responsibility, right? Yes. Do you know what I mean? So even when you're looking at actors and what roles they play, kind of thing, obviously Chadwick's passed recently. Do you know what I mean? But he had so much integrity in terms of the parts that he chose throughout his career. And it shows that it's possible. You can be successful. Do you know what I mean? Kind of thing. You can get there. And you don't have to compromise your integrity. Although I do understand that people might be in difficult situations, like from the first conversation, do you know what I mean? Or why they take these choices. But that needs to be part of your response then. Do you know what I mean? That needs to be part of it. Not just it's a great role. Do you know what I mean? It's just you know what? It's all, I don't know, obviously it's like your employer as well and all that kind of stuff. But do you know what I mean? But there needs to be more thought about how you kind of reconcile with yourself and have that integrity about what the choices that you make in your life. It's down to the individual at the end of the day, and if you don't make individual change, there cannot be mass change.
Exactly.
At all. But people like this woman,
I think definitely the fact that she was in that position and had been endorsed by so many other academics as well, threatened people. To me, she really does sound like a sociopath. Yeah. It sounds like there's a real deep-seated mental health issue in there, but that accessibility that we afford people where you don't really know their history, they're racially ambiguous, but their ambiguousness.
Sorry. But what?
I'm washing.
Okay, all right.
Their racial ambiguity doesn't seem to be placed in question, that you're going to put them in a position of so much power that they're afforded book deals.
Exactly.
They can demand money from people. I was seeing some receipts that she was sending people, you've been sharing my work quite a lot, so my labor needs to be paid for. Real kind. It's really, even everything that you're doing, you were still able to be demanding money. Your labor needs to be paid for in this exchange when you know that you're lying. Really, just it screams.
So there was a Twitter thread where someone said that she knew the woman, and she said that she used to make her feel like her blackness wasn't good enough, she wasn't black enough. She used to question this black woman, and the black woman was like, it's funny, this woman's funny, but she couldn't kind of work it out. And then it's now she's seen the trajectory and seen what's happened. She's like, now I feel validated because I knew something was up with this woman, but I just couldn't place my finger on it. And then, but I think she knew her before when she was just as a white Jewish woman. I think she's Jewish, isn't she?
Yeah.
So,
No, she lied from jump, apparently. Like when
I think this woman knew her before all of this stuff.
So when she was in university, she had already lied. So to lots of people, nobody really knew her as Jewish. She was then half German and Algerian.
Okay.
When she was at university.
Okay.
So it's like she's lied. She's just a liar, I guess.
She just doesn't want to be heard. And that's the thing.
Yeah.
Like, people like that, they're the worst because they actually hate us, but they want to be us, or they want what we have, or they want our presence in the world, but they actually hate us and they hate themselves.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So they're trying to construct this identity and have all this, but it's such a warped. That's why I don't think she's of sound mind. She can't be, because it's such a warped way of being. Do you know what I mean?
But look at Rachel, and also the thing that used to go.
But the same. I think she warped as well. Like
the thing that got me about Rachel was the fact that even after it all came out, you still had black people. I don't say black women. Black people going to her hair salon. I don't understand.
No, I know.
The thing is, they might feel so. They might be invested. They might pity her. They might, do you know what I mean, kind of thing. Or maybe she's getting so much hate that it's beyond
At a human level.
Yeah, on a humanistic level. But I think as well, like sometimes we, as a people, I actually think it's in our nature to be quite forgiving as well. And also society pressurizes us to be forgiven as well, kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? So I think that. I just don't think I don't know. I feel like there should be like black police here, and go around and be able to strip them of everything, and they're not allowed to do it again. Like,
because she's definitely going to get a book deal on the back of. Oh my God, the other book one. There was an author. Did she pretend to be Latina as well? There's no point in me going into it. I can't remember. This happens a lot because of these other reverse benefits that you get pretending to be an ethnic. If you go to the comments.
Okay. We have one that has just come up now.
Hazel.
Sorry, I can't see it properly on my screen. Can one of you see it and read it out? It's from Zell Sugar.
I'm interested in knowing what the things were that people picked up on. We don't all act the same or have the same cultural reference points. So I wonder what gave it away. Maybe the supremacy attitude, for sure.
What's she going? Hey girl. Hey girl.
You know what? Actually, I did read one of her students. It was 3 students, and they gave their opinion on what it was. And one of them did say it was very performative. So, and her dress was often inappropriate. So she would wear crop tops, or like a crop top and an African skirt, big earrings. Like everything was a bit like you're too old and a professional to be dressing like this. Yeah. So it was, they questioned, like, but they didn't really question her race. It was more, is she okay?
Yeah.
Like, because it doesn't seem like she fits into this academic world, but because she's dressing a bit street. It was more like that. It was like, but you can imagine, it's a bit like a clown, innit? It's how I pictured it. She was just putting everything on. She's like, oh, black women wear big hoops. Woo, I saw a black woman in a crop top. Woo, I saw a black woman in an African skirt. Woo, like she just like all at once.
I need to get off this topic. Hazel. Okay, next one. Auntie Farah.
So my story is about the Twitter battle that has commenced between Cardi B and Candace, Owens, shut your mouth, Owens, Republican, Owens, that woman. So basically, Joe Bidden. Yeah, I've got Budden in my head from before.
Yeah.
Joe Biden and Cardi B did a little interview together, and he was getting slammed by that lovely Ben Shapiro because Joe hasn't done much press. Joe hasn't done much press, so therefore they were saying of all the people that he went in to be interviewed by, he got interviewed by this stripper. She's a stripper rapper. And basically Candace saw this and said that she's illiterate, black people are stupid, just because he can sit down with an illiterate rapper doesn't mean anything. She went on her rampage again about how the fact of that this is the way that the Democrats use black individuals. They push them to the front to make everyone feel like, yes, you should vote for them, but they've got an agenda. The problem that I've got with that is that, does she not think that she's doing the same thing?
Exactly.
You can't talk. Anyway, that's how do you feel about this? Because I could go on, but how do you guys feel about this?
Auntie, no.
So you know what? So I watched Candace and Dave Ben Shapiro's interview, and was like, okay, this is standard Candace. I expect this from her. For a woman that was shunned by Trump, and she didn't have her moment on stage, which to me it just felt like for the last 4 years, this is what she's been gearing for, is to speak at the Republican conference, and that didn't happen for her. So I was expecting that she would like resurface and start chatting. I was more disappointed that Cardi B responded, because this has made her relevant, and she just needed to, the way Trump shunned her, everybody else needed to be like, we don't need to listen to this woman, because she done her dues, like, and he didn't even want to use her. So I really feel like Cardi should have ignored her. But also, dude, she just had no points. Like, Candace was just ranting for ranting's sake. There was nothing in it. It makes sense that he would be speaking to rappers or singers, or because Obama did a similar thing. It's like, this is a Democrat kind of tool, and Cardi B, if you want to open up your platform to whoever you want to open it up for, that's for her to do. Like, I don't really think there was anything in it, but giving Candace this platform was unnecessary. I really wish she had ignored her, because she didn't have any valid points. And it's not to say that Candace Owens hasn't in the past had some valid points, but this time she was just chatting fraff.
Auntie Sade.
Well, Candace, I think she's the Antichrist, or at least the Antichrist helper, to be honest. You know what I mean? Like, let's call it that, because Trump might be the Antichrist, to be honest. So yeah, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised at all. Like, her and Ben Shapiro, like, of course, they're scum at the end of the day, and that's what they do. But like, I think there's hypocrisy there, because I swear Kanye went to the White House and was talking with Trump. Right. Is he a rapper? Do you know what I mean? Like, seriously, it's just such hypocrisy. I also, what do you call it? I think Cardi B, to be honest, I'm not surprised that she responded. I was a little bit like, oh, Cardi, why? Do you know what I mean? But I'm not surprised she responded, because that's the kind of person that she is. But yeah, I just don't know. I just hope that Trump doesn't have another 4 years, to be honest, because that means that Candace is not going to go away. I just think that what she's talking about, her points, they're kind of just over obvious. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? She's talking about things that everybody does anyway. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't matter what side of the fence that you're on. I don't know. I just don't know how she sleeps at night. I just don't know I just don't know what black person hurt her so bad that you have to dedicate your career to destroying your race. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, that is, it's another sickness. It's a different version, but it's just another sickness. I don't have any time for Candace at all, man. Seriously, I think, yeah, Antichrist, man.
I kind of missed that she was supposed to be at the DNC, and I'm now like, oh yeah, why wasn't she there? And good for her getting snubbed. It's good that Trump didn't pick her up. Was there a reason why he didn't pick her up? Was it ever talked about?
They didn't think that she was worthy.
And the thing is, she wasn't supposed to.
Okay,
no.
But the thing is, what they did do is they had the who is the governor? No, not governor. The police chief or someone. The person who can make that the person who can arrest the cops that killed Breonna Taylor, that black man, that's who they had speak.
Yeah.
Imagine. Yeah. So what message are you sending? Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Seriously.
Go on. Yeah. I mean, you guys have all said it. When I heard her say about Kanye, actually say she was dissing rap, saying rap's all this, all that, and insulting Cardi B's rap content. But yet, Kanye West, for all his talents, he has had some problematic lyrics. Have you heard some of his tunes and some of the things he wants to talk about in his explicit lyrics about his own wife even? So come on, let's not pit rappers against each other. If you're going to talk about rap, then you better go and find the most conscious rapper sitting on a hill in his dashiki. Then you want to talk about rap. Don't come and try and compare Cardi and Kanye, because they both got problematic content if you're talking about morality and stuff like that. I just thought, again, I'm with you, Auntie Sade. Why is she so angry? Because and also like Auntie Nana, I do see sometimes, if it wasn't because she was so warped, I would understand where she's going, because sometimes she's kind of like challenging people to think alternatively a little bit, so it's not all sheeple people. But at the same time, she's so warped, you can't even take her seriously. Can
I just say, she's not the only person that does that.
No, I'm not saying
she shouldn't have that platform to be the pinnacle of like, oh, she's alternative thought. She's not. She's
no, she isn't.
I'm not saying she's the pinnacle. Let me be clear. I'm not saying she's the pinnacle. She's one of many, many, many. And
many people.
Because she's so distorted, no, she shouldn't have a platform. But that's my whole point. And again, as you've all said, everybody pulls their puppets out to promote themselves and appeal to their bases. Everybody, herself included.
Yes,
so what she's talking about is a waste of time. I actually can't, beyond all of this, I can't stand political debates and fighting, because it's just so much hypocrisy. And it's like, they're taking us for fools, and they both say the same thing to their audiences, but then cuss both sides for doing the same thing. Everybody does it. So just talk on the policies and what effects you're going to change. That's all. I hate all this even Joe Biden rolling out Cardi B. Forget all of that. Unless what is your agenda to change things? That's all you need to focus on. And then talk to these people. If you've really made it clear what your agenda is, what you're going to change, and you're going to stick to that. That's all I want to hear about. And
I mean, that's the thing though, because really on levels, it is a bit of folly that he's not talking to other journalists properly and you're speaking to Cardi B. So I get her point in that regards. But then challenging Cardi B to a debate is foolishness. When you really do have black political pundits that are on the left side, that you could be like, okay, I want to challenge you to a debate, which you have never done. So it's just, this is all performing. You're saying that she's being a puppet. You're being a puppet, because if you was really about, I want to challenge black people to think outside of the box, to stop relying on the Democrats, to be free thinkers, to see how they trap you in this, you would really be discussing things with other black political activists on the left to be advancing everybody. Like you wouldn't be taking swipes at Cardi B for that. Is clout chasing.
Let me let Auntie Farah come in. Sorry, because she hasn't spoken yet. Let me let Auntie Farah come in.
So she said, Candace said, she's I would say she reminds me of Katie Hopkins.
Yeah.
She's the black version of Katie Hopkins, because she just says shit to be problematic and to keep herself relevant. Because like everyone said, she's not the only person that says stuff like that. Because how can you come out and say they're rolling out their puppet when you're on strings yourself? It makes no sense. She also said in her rant that the statistics are wrong, and statistically Offset has Cardi has more chance by being killed by Offset, her husband, than she does than the police. This is what she said. Exactly. But exactly. Does it have to do with anything? Does it have to do with what they're talking about? Does it have to do with what Biden or Trump are talking about?
What she does. But she's criminalizing black men in the process. Do you see what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah. She then said that what Cardi is doing is hurting Black America. What Cardi is doing is hurting Black America. But you standing next to Trump, who doesn't give a damn about healthcare, who doesn't give a damn about the black people, the millions of black people that are, being racially abused every day, doesn't give a damn about the hundreds of people that are being killed on camera, off camera by police, doesn't care. You're endorsing this man. You're standing in the White House with this man and your challengingly looked husband.
Auntie Sade.
So, what I was going to say, like, I even reject that notion of that she should debate someone else. Like, if she wants to debate Cardi. Cardi knows her stuff, you know. There's a reason why those political people go and speak to her specifically, because she actually knows politics. She's interested in it. She does her research. She reads the legislation or whatever it is that they put forward. Whatever it is, she does her research, and that is why she is the perfect person to speak to the masses and to speak to people that are like her and convince them to vote at the end of the day. So I don't think there's anything even wrong with Joe Biden sitting down with Cardi. She said she's a Democrat, so she's going to vote for him, so that's what she's going to do. When Bernie Sanders was running, she sat down with Bernie Sanders. That done a lot for his campaign at the same time. Do you know what I mean? So, like, what you have to go to the people. You have to go to people who are popular. You have to go to people who can help influence people, and she can do that. So I don't have a problem with that at all, kind of thing. And I think it's actually insulting to think that someone who was formerly a stripper cannot have political opinion, is not intelligent. Do you know what I mean? Is not worthy of giving their opinion. No, how dare you? That in itself is elitist. And it's wrong.
Yeah, definitely that. I was for clarifying, I was saying for Joe Biden and for everybody, what's your political game? What's your agenda properly? And
he's put out his agenda. He has actually put out a black agenda. It's not. I don't know if it's very good, but he at least put one out. Do you know what I mean? So I don't think he's doing what he's supposed to do at the end of the day, and he has to actually pick those moments who he does speak to very well. It has to be more impactful, because at the end of the day, all the news stations, they're all biased.
Yeah,
they are biased for how many years? Do you know what I mean? So what is he supposed? He has to use other channels. He can't stick to the traditional channels. That would be a death sentence, to be honest.
I feel like it's fine to speak to Cardi, but I get the criticism is, especially in that interview that she had and with Bernie, there's no challenge. Like, she's not really challenging them on things. And there's other women who don't have her platform, but maybe you have them alongside you. So you have Angela Rye, or you have Amanda Seales. Like, you know, there's somebody else that is, or Jamel Hill. Like, you just have somebody else that may have that journalistic style to probe more, like how Charlamagne did when he spoke to him. And then you got that soundbite of, are you even black if you don't vote for me? Like, you know, you need somebody to push so that you see their character. And she isn't going to do that.
Do you know, if you need to win, do you? Do you know what I mean? No, you don't. You need to get your information out and make sure it's received in a positive way to encourage people to vote. Do you see what I mean? It doesn't serve being challenged in that way if he's not going to respond in the way that needs to win votes. Do you see what I'm saying? And ultimately, they want to beat Trump. Cardi's already said what her leader.
Yeah, but it's not about anybody just to beat Trump, because a snake is a snake is a snake, and they can be presenting like all goodness and light, and then this man gets in and he starts bombing people. Neither of them are great people, and both of them have a history of literally doing shit to black people, both of them equally. So I don't trust either of them. But at least if you apply pressure, Trump is so not going to take any pressure from black people, but Joe Biden may do. And so I can see how you need to be pressurizing him. So at least, you know, it's like we're not in the gaze for the shoot down. Like, but neither of them are going to do right. Like, I think if any African American is thinking that either of those men are going to do right, it's going to have to be the lesser of the devils. Like, you know, I would say that may be off your neck for a moment, but literally both of them will do some shit to you.
I totally agree. It's the lesser evil, 100%.
I would say that then it's more about who else Joe is going to speak to and roll out, if that be the case, because it can't just be one, because whatever Candace is shouting has been, it will affect some people like, yeah, you know what, there are going to be some left people that are like, yeah, what's he up to? So there needs to be a fair balance of pundits that he speaks to that appeal to the black community, because we aren't all Cardi B fans. We're not all. You know what I'm saying? No, I'm just saying, like, how to balance it out to make sure that he's not just rolling out the easy target, because Cardi B is a win for him. is an absolute win for him.
Yeah.
To the young people.
But he needs.
He does need. I get what I'm saying. So it is that. Go, Auntie Farah.
I was going to say, I think he will do, though. It's very clever of him to use Cardi B, because she does have a massive platform. And as Auntie Sade says, she is actually more intelligent than she's given credit for. She does her research. When she sat down with Bernie, she had a whole bunch of things that she made some very good points. And even after he lost, she sat down with him again and she was like, I wanted you to win. Now I've got to do my research about Joe. I need to find out why are you endorsing him now? She didn't just let that go and say, okay, Democrats forever. She didn't do that, but she's using her platform for good. And, she's showing that she doesn't know everything. That's why she's asking questions. I think it's important for him to try and reach people that maybe are thinking, voting, what's the point of voting? There's still a lot of people that are like, what is the point of voting? The point of voting is to take us to your nearest destination. That's the point.
Again, it cut out.
I said, take us to your nearest destination. That's what I always say. But we need to move on.
We need. Sorry, got comments quickly.
So Miss Litang says, you need them all, your Angelas, your Jamels, Amandas, and Cardi to reach voters. Yes, they all have influence. Very true.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And they all have been saying stuff, so definitely.
Yeah.
Cool. Finally, my one. So, oh gosh, I was about to say the wrong thing. So mine's quick. So Ofcom said they received over 1,000 complaints because of dance group diversity's Black Lives Matter related performance on last Saturday's Britain's Got Talent. So led by Ashley Banjo, the performance saw a white police officer kneel on him, echoing the killing of unarmed black man George Floyd, whilst other dancers performed with riot shields and stuff like that. And Ashley was narrating a poem explaining the whole situation. So the TV watchdog Ofcom said it received 1,121 complaints about the show, with most of them about diversity's dance piece. So Ashley was very proud of the performance. He took to Twitter to say, thanks to everyone who responded positively. However, others said a family show is not the place to make political statements. What do you guys think about Britain's Got Talent being a platform for political statements and the like?
It's to me, it's not really political. It's social commentary. Dance generally does have a commentary on something. If it's art does, and they were doing their performing arts. I thought the piece was a bit cliched to critique the piece, but I expect the UK, especially the home counties type folks, to complain about this because they want all of that rioting shit over there and them eating their crumpets and tea and having to deal with black people other than them jigabooing up and down or singing lovely hymns. They don't want to see it. So I expect them to complain. And I hope that ITV takes a leaf out of the BBC book and is just like, and carries on about their business.
Auntie Sade.
Well, in comparison to the 17,000 people that complained about the N-word, I mean, why is this even a news story? Exactly. I just think it's nonsense. Do you know what I mean? It's not enough to warrant that headline, to be honest, at all, or to get as many inches as it's got. It's just trying to create something out of nothing. It's a handful of people that were just annoyed, probably, all in a Facebook group together or something like that. Do you know what I mean? Kind of thing, and said, "Oh, this is what you need to do," copy and paste and whatever. Do you know what I mean? Bun them all. At the end of the day, me personally, I wasn't really. I thought I don't know. As a critique as well, kind of thing. I wasn't really feeling the dance part of it. It was it's a bit cheese. Do you know what I mean? But I like the message, and I like the fact that they had the platform to be able to do it, especially at prime time. And how can you not say it's a family show? So yes, that's why it's necessary. Let the family have the discussion. Let it be a talking point and actually deal with some of this stuff. Do you know what I mean? Within their own families. I think it was excellent that they had the platform to do it.
Auntie Farah.
Yeah, totally agree. These are the same people that complained about the all black Argos advert.
Yeah, it is.
It's disgusting. There's black people on the television. Oh, but in terms, I didn't see it. I only saw stills of the dance. I think they were right to do it. It's been done in America, you know, on BET Awards, you've had people do it. Why not? Highlight what's going on. It's important for those conversations to be had. Just because you can't see it doesn't mean it's not happening. So, like Auntie Sade said, ban anyone that wants to complain about it. You need to look in the mirror and decide why it's bothering you. That's what you should think about.
I think it's also that shocking moment when, diversity, they're political, because diversity have been well loved, especially watching them all grow from Britain's Got Talent that they won, right? It was Britain's Got Talent.
Yeah.
And now look, my gosh, these young lovely lads are now being political about this Black Lives Matter stuff. It's all shock and clutching pearls for no reason.
Yeah.
It's very ironic that it's on ITV when ITV has come under some fire over the weekend as well for contacting a woman called Ortega, who to contribute to their Black History Month event for free. And I just want to quickly read her tweet, because she literally said ITV. She called out ITV on Twitter, said, "Please come and collect your employee from my inbox," because a woman, I haven't got it all, I didn't get it all the way up. But anyway, a woman basically said, asked her to contribute to an ITV project, but they unfortunately did not have the budget for Black History Month. So they got called out and cussed over Twitter. So it's, again, testament to how these organizations are using Black Lives Matter as a poster or a sticker, a plaster over a deep wound that they haven't resolved yet or they haven't healed properly.
The thing is to remember with Britain's Got Talent and a lot of shows, it's on ITV, but it's not made by ITV.
Oh, I understand that.
That's something that you need to remember as well. It's not as though the corporation themselves are saying, we're going to use this. They probably don't even know.
What
because
the going to be.
Exactly.
But also, anyway, but it just comes in tandem, because there are things that ITV have done. They did the Black Lives Matter series with some independent filmmakers that, was like monologues and pieces about Black Lives Matter. But what are you doing in contrast when it comes to things like hiring someone for free, asking someone to contribute for free? And it's the head of business affairs, that's who it was at ITV, that asked this young lady to come and contribute for free. So the whole thing is
business affairs.
head of business affairs at two ITV studios, production labels, ITV Daytime and Multi-Story Media. Yes, head of business affairs. And if you go to Twitter, she's put the whole email with the person's name, because she said, "I'm sick and tired of hiding. I'm calling out everybody that comes to us like this." So she's again doing a Joe Budden, and I'm not even saying she's doing a Joe Budden. She's doing the right thing by calling out and shaming these people. So just back to the whole thing, I think it just echoed the whole people complaining about the footballers taking a knee in America. Like, it's not who said that football, sports, TV shows cannot be political, and why does someone? It's freedom to protest. It's democracy, right? Why are these places sanctioned for what? Like, who gave you the authority to say that this is what happens here, there, and everywhere? And I think, as you said, Auntie Flora, that it's a conversation starter. Families are the place. If you're talking about old school traditional family setups, that's where you watch TV and comment on the stuff. You lot aren't protesting EastEnders when they're having all sorts of storylines. And Coronation Street going to killing people, all these type of things going on. You lot aren't saying, well, this is a family show. We shouldn't be having it. Do you know what I mean? They only when it's black or something that they're not used to, then it becomes a political, this is not the time. But you can watch those shows with you've got little kids watching EastEnders and Coronation Street, with all the stuff that's going on. Complain about that.
And after that.
Come on. Why, what were you going to say?
We're saying after that, we need to move on.
Oh, do it. That was a short one. Any comments? And Nicola, hi Nicola. She said, "Hey ladies."
Hello, Nicola. No, I think that literally was it. It was just Nicola.
How do you like our new setup? Does it look lovely, everybody?
Yeah, guys.
Yeah, comment on the.
Yeah, let us know. Let us know what you think of our new look.
Should we play the intro again?
Say it again, just before we go to the next thing.
Can I do an interlude?
Yeah, perfect time. What do you think?
Enjoy. Fabulous.
We say in Grenada, we say this word bonje. Bonje.
You know what? There's been no comments There's
Look,
been
I'm seeing bare hearts, bare hearts, bare hearts.
No, people are hiding it, you know.
I'm seeing bare hearts.
no. I think they're part in the look, not the
Yeah.
freaking song.
Not the music.
No, please,
It's not the Bonjour.
please, ladies, what do you think of the theme music?
It's not. It's listen. I don't even know. I don't even want to vote. I don't want to know the results.
No, we're not voting. No,
It's
way.
a dictatorship.
Oh, yeah.
So sorry. I think we're gonna get champion on this. It's not happening. Okay, guys. Come on then, aunties. Are you ready? Aunties know best. What do we know? We know best. Like Milana, be best. We know best.
Oh, look at that. We got low thirds and all that.
We got all them bits, yeah. We got titles, yeah. Hold on.
I'm sitting on a bad boy piece of information.
Yes.
Dedicated to Auntie Sade.
Please again.
Can you do it again, please? Because I really am.
Bad boy piece of
Let
information.
me do it again.
Do it again.
Bad boy piece of information. Piece of information.
All right.
What we're doing right now.
In it,
We're saying on some bad boy pieces of information.
can you play
Man,
it?
can you read the comments, please? Because
Nicola says, I love seeing your growth and development. I think you guys are ready for a versus. And Mantra says, it's an awesome intro. I love it. Thank you.
guys.
We especially need feedback on the music.
We don't actually. We really don't. Okay, who's got a dilemma? Let's go.
All right.
I do.
I'll go second.
Oh, okay, fine. I'll go first. Okay. Dear aunties, love the show. I work in a large team and I'm struggling to be noticed. This has especially been difficult since working from home due to COVID. I try to speak up in meetings and put ideas forward, but I'm often ignored or talked over. I do struggle to make friends, but I feel like my colleagues do not make enough effort. Do you have any suggestions on how I can get noticed?
Sorry. Mantis, I love you, but no, thank you, no.
Please,
We don't need this.
you don't want it.
Man.
No.
Oh yeah.
I need to. Can someone tag Sid, please? Because people are trying to put him out of a job. Someone tag Sid and just say. Okay, so what to do? Let's get to the point. Nana, yeah, Auntie Nana.
I don't have a response yet.
I was going to say, Auntie Farah, do you want to say anything?
Go on, I'm thinking.
I was going to say, how does she want to be noticed, for her work or for her personality?
Sounds more personality. She's not really talking about work.
Okay, so I guess I wonder what she's doing, because like in contrast to me, when I'm at work, I don't care. I just want to get on with my work and go.
Yeah.
I'm a bit unsociable like that. In corporate workspaces, if I'm working with people that, in my environment, then it's a different thing. But I just think if she's feeling unseen, I wonder is she involving herself in work events, or is she not getting invited? How does she approach her day? Because when I used to go into the corporate space, I'd go into work, get my head done and just start getting on with my work. I wouldn't engage necessarily with people unless the one or two colleagues that I really knew, then I'd have the conversation with them. But anyone else I didn't really bother with. So if they were to arrange something and I might be left out, but I didn't mind this thing. And I'd be like, oh, but I would know who to ask to kind of get into the office culture. So maybe, is there someone that she feels is a bit more approachable that she can say, and maybe not expose too much if you don't feel comfortable, but maybe say, look, I really want to start getting involved with what you guys get up to. If they have pub drinks, if they have pub, we used to have a geeky games night at my old workplace and stuff like that. And maybe find someone that she can approach, or just generally, there should be someone on reception, like the office manager or the office assistant. Usually they have the finger on the pulse of all things, like people's birthdays, all that type of stuff. So they have a calendar of events. You might be able to say, oh, do you know if there's any kind of office things that go on? Can I be added to the invites? And then just maybe start putting yourself out there. It's a bit difficult. It's like first day at school business, but you just kind of have to think about how, understand the office culture and try and ingratiate yourself into it, I think. Auntie
Um,
Nana, sorry.
okay, yeah, I think that's a good suggestion. If it's really, really bothering you, then I think you need to go in on the charm offensive. Like, everybody loves the cake bringer, the donut bringer. Like, you may just have to spend a bit of money and make yourself known. Be a baker. If you got, if you can bake something, because people love a homemade thing as well. And if you can't, somebody's going to like Krispy Kremes. Somebody's going to appreciate a really nice new drink that you're like, I tried this and I thought it was really nice. I thought I'd bring you some. Like, sometimes you just have to kiss ass and then people start to notice you. Just, do something. If you're not being noticed purely on your personality, then maybe you need to buy some noticing.
I just had a thought of like, call out the boss, just do something mad in a team meeting. But that's not the way to do it. Auntie Farah.
Yeah, agree with everything you're saying. She needs to start doing things like, oh, you guys going to lunch? What are you doing? Like, start tagging along to things, because it sounds like you're probably just sticking to yourself a little bit. So if you start maybe going to lunch, like everyone said, bring treats in. Oh, I just felt like bringing these treats today. They were on offer. Look, I've put them there. They're for everybody. They'll be like, and so people will notice you more. Oh, she brought in treats. Do it again. Oh, you're the treat lady. Just start to, what's the word? Socialize more with people just out of work. Start doing that kind of stuff. Why are you laughing?
I keep thinking of crazy things like, you're the treat lady, and if you don't bring
the treat lady,
I'm not going to talk to you.
Then when she doesn't,
we're not talking to you for your treats.
But when she doesn't bring the treats, it could be a thing. I don't just bring treats, I bring other stuff. I bring my personality.
Yeah, you can start chatting.
What she needs to do.
I'm sitting on a bad boy piece of information.
That is another message to start rumours. Like,
I'm going to really run this quickly because we're being right.
Okay. So I think definitely what you're saying, Auntie Nana and Auntie Farah. No,
I gave good advice in the first place.
Oh no, you did. You did. I was gonna say, like, especially like in large companies, like big corporate companies, it is hard definitely to get spotlight, to stand out and that sort of thing. So I think like you kind of need to offer up. You're gonna have to use extra time. Do you know what I mean? So do things like offer to present. Do you know what I mean? Because then the spotlight is on you, 100%, and you've got everyone's attention. Definitely, like, just offer to support on projects, maybe, kind of thing. And the presenting doesn't necessarily have to be on a work thing. It could be, like, oh, I went on a trip this time, and or I went to a conference, and these were my learnings. Do you know what I mean? And kind of like, put it in the kind of have a discussion about it and stuff. But I do like the idea of like bringing treats, but that's probably quite difficult if you're, if you're working from home, working remotely. So I would think of like maybe organising like a TGIF, a virtual TGIF or something like that can bring people together and stuff as well. But definitely if you're even helping the person who kind of like sorts out people's birthdays and things like that, definitely okay. I like that idea of getting to know people. In one of my teams, we had a fun committee. Sounds really, but we did, and it was literally our job to make or do activities where people can have fun. Do you know what I mean?
I like that.
Company does that.
Yeah.
My brother's company does that. He's on it. They do all these. He always gets these jammy jobs where they do stuff like you get paid to organise fun days.
Yes.
I used to bring in cakes. When I was baking, I used to bring in cakes, not to ingratiate myself. I just like baking for people. And that was a good way, work people tend to be gannets. It's like they don't get fed at home. So,
yeah.
But sorry. Next dilemma.
Okay. All right. I've got one. Okay. Me and my girl have been together 6 months. I felt it was time to introduce her to my parents. They invited us for dinner at their home last week. I told my girlfriend to wear some nice jeans and a shirt. After I got dressed, I noticed her looking at herself in the mirror. She turned to me and I saw her breasts through the shirt. I told her I didn't feel comfortable with her wearing that particular shirt. I asked if she could wear a more loose-fitting shirt instead. She immediately started yelling at me and called me controlling. I told her it's my parents she's meeting, and I didn't want them to get the wrong impression. She looked at me and said she knew I was too good to be true. I was lost because we never had issues like this before. I apologized to her and said I cared about her and I didn't want what she was wearing to be a distraction. She then said it's her body and she wasn't changing her shirt. I told her I didn't want her coming with me. Then I got up and left. When I came back 3 hours later, her stuff was gone. I called her and asked her why she took her stuff. She said she couldn't deal with my controlling behavior. I couldn't believe that she broke up with me over a shirt. Was I wrong? I'm confused.
Auntie Farah, please.
Jesus Christ. I mean, she's meeting his parents. She shouldn't be having her boobs all out of doors when she's meeting the parents. He hasn't got the right to tell her how to dress on any other occasion apart from the occasion where she's meeting the parents, because you want to set a good look. You know, like, leave that for when you know the parents and they know you and it's all good. You don't need to come and the dad's like this. Hello. You do this, or the mum's like that. Hello. Be like that, you know, like, put on a respectable front. Not that respectable is not the right word, but I just feel like it wasn't wrong for him to say to her, could you please just wear a different top? To say that he's majorly controlling, I feel like maybe there's an element of other things there that have happened, because why is she using that word and going to the extreme of leaving you just for that one comment? I feel like maybe if you're honest with yourself, you might have said a couple of things to her here, there and everywhere. If you're honest with yourself. If that's not the case and it was literally just because she was meeting your mum and dad, then you're not unreasonable. Imagine if you went out with a guy and then he came to pick you up to go meet your mum and dad and he had like some tight ass cycling shorts on. There's no me wrong. Imagine if he did. And it'd be like,
Auntie Sade.
I mean, if it's based on this, and this is the only time, like, do you know what I mean? And she's like, yeah, come on, it's a bit dramatic. It's just a bit dramatic. I think like that reaction, like when you're, I think when you're in a relationship and you come across something that you disagree on, like, it's never good to act in anger, I think. Do you know what I mean? Like, you need to talk it out, have a moment, talk it out, kind of thing. If you agree to disagree, then that's fine. And I think he did do the right thing and went by himself. Do you know what I mean? Like, because at the end of the day, it's inappropriate. And like, first impressions count at the end of the day. Like, you don't know what, to be honest, like, we don't live in isolation. We don't live in a world where everyone, you know, we're now taught that everyone should accept you the way you are, but people don't. Do you know what I mean? So like, he wants you to be presented in the best way for his parents. Do you know what I mean? In order for them to accept you, there's nothing wrong with that. Do you know what I mean? So if you want to be with him on a serious level, then you're gonna have to adhere to some of that. Do you know what I mean? So I think like doing a dramatic leave after one thing without even having a conversation about it properly, nah, that's immaturity and dramaticness. I don't respect that at all, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, same. Because unless it's some hidden stuff that is leading up to that, she's being a tad dramatic. That's it. Do we have? Oh, do you want to? Yeah, what were you going to say, Auntie Nana?
Yeah, she is being dramatic. I think he's got a lucky escape, really. Like, this just sounds very unreasonable, and she sounds like that triggered some type of trauma and abandonment when he left her. Yeah. So it's just better out of it. She probably needs therapy.
True. Yeah. Next dilemma.
Okay, I've got one. Hold on. Hello, Aunties. I need some advice on deciding which girl I like from an outing during last bank holiday weekend. Ooh. Before heading to the event for two of my friends who are in their own relationship, they had tried to set me up with one of the girls for ages, but I hadn't had a chance to properly meet her during lockdown. They say myself and her share certain similarities and think that we would get along well in the long run. Long story short, all 12 of us get to the venue, enjoy food, and then we all start making our separate ways back home. Throughout the journey back, I eventually ended up talking to the girl my friends were on about. We like the same era of music, both like action, comedy, comic flicks, and related media. That all sounds legit. However, I also started talking to their other friend. We get to talking, and I find out certain things I quite like about her. And I felt as if I could talk to her about anything comfortably. Near the end of the journey, I got both girls' numbers. Not at the same time, mind you. And I said goodnight to everybody. Now I'm meeting the same group of people for another birthday party this weekend. And up until this point, I still can't decide on which of the girls that I like. I've sent one message to both, but only one replied. Help me, Aunties. I trust your judgment.
Auntie Sade.
Right. I mean, it's so early. Do you know what I mean? I think, you know, if I was forced to make a decision, I'll go with the one that replied.
Yeah.
Do you know what
Exactly.
I mean? Because she replied, didn't it? So you're showing the interested back. The other one, there's just so much clouds. I don't know. Do you have a man? And something, do you know what I mean? Like there's too much mystery because you haven't replied. So I'll deal with what I know, innit? Like, and start from there at least. So because it's so early.
Yeah, it's early.
Do you know what I mean?
Auntie Nana.
Yeah, exactly. You really don't have two options. You left with two numbers, but you have one option because only one person replied. That's one option. Like, just follow through on the one that got in contact. And if you see the one that blanked your message, you can talk to her. But I would file her under the thing of long because I'd think that she wasn't that interested.
What's the thing is, as humans are so funny. You see the one he's asking about. What you see, anyone else would be like, oh, the one that replied. But he's still slightly intrigued about the one that didn't because it's that element of mystery. Because people that don't, you know, that kind of what's the word? It's not playing games. Not always playing games. But the other one could be like, I'm in it for I'm not going to respond to him quickly. Maybe the girl actually knows that you've got both their numbers. What about that? So maybe she's like, I'm not responding to him. I don't know what he wants. So she's playing the long game herself. It's just too early to tell because you haven't done anything wrong per se, as long as you weren't overly flirting and leading them down a path on that first day of meeting. You are open to everything. If they're single, this is all very early. Go to this party, talk to them as you would talk to both of them, and let the natural conversation happen. Because whoever you naturally gravitate to and respond, interact with, that is who. And again, it's another thing. We've talked about this before in different ways of what love is in different types of ways and like is. It could be that the one that you spend so much time speaking to could be a best friend or could be the girlfriend who we don't know. So it's early days. Talk to everybody freely. Just let it go and see what happens. But the one that didn't respond, you don't know what she could be clocking the game and thinking, it's all right. I'm going to sit back in the cut. I'll be ready. I'll be waiting. Do you know what I mean? So you don't know. Auntie Farah?
Yeah, for me, it's like you took both of their numbers and they're friends. The one that didn't respond knows that you took her brethren's number.
They are.
She knows, man. She knows. They're all friends. It's not like they're not all friends. Yes, it's early.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
It's early and there's no expectation. But I know personally, if I go out with any of you lot, well, not you, Auntie Nana, because you're married. But if I go out with the other two and some man takes my number and he takes your number too, I'm not ringing you. You're not serious. We're friends. You don't do that to a group of friends. It's going to be mad orcs when you go around. Yeah, yes, it is early. And, you don't owe none of them anything, but you're not really you're not really putting your best foot forward, are you?
I was going to ask, how did he take the numbers? Is it just like, oh, you're cool, numbers? Or was it numbers?
Everybody knows what numbers means.
No, I know, but
Everyone knows.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just trying to make sure that we've established all corners of the thing.
It sounds to me like it was like, yeah, can have your number.
Yeah, he's trying it then.
So he's trying it. They're friends, and that's my advice. Like, the girl hasn't called you because basically she knows that you took her brethren's number, and you're gonna have to suck it up and deal with the awkwardness when you go to the party and they both don't talk to you because at that point they're both.
No. She don't care. She's on it.
Yeah.
Maybe he messaged her, right? She responded, and then she's telling her brethren, "Oh my god, that boy from the other day, he messaged me." Look, and then she's like, "Is it? He messaged me too. I'm not responding to him later."
That's
Maybe
true.
that's what happened.
Do you want to?
Anyway, your belt soon busts. You're soon gonna find out.
Do you want to know why she didn't respond?
I'm sitting on a bad boy piece of information. I'm sitting on a bad boy piece of information.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. The joke.
That's my
That's enough now. That's enough now. Oh, sorry.
perfect. I'm dying.
So good.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
Okay, let's go. Black in the day. Black in the day.
Black in the
Black in
day.
the day. Black in the day.
We play the intro.
Yeah, 1 second.
Well, we ain't anyway. Let's say.
June!
I love it.
Okay.
That's mad.
It's my Black in the day. I just can't even. So my Black in the day is quick one. What do you remember your first name branded item that you spent with that you bought with your first own money pieces, coins and papers? The first piece of name branded attire.
I don't remember my first piece. I remember my favourite piece and most. Yes, I don't remember the first piece because I had a maybe like one or I didn't have loads. There were people in college that had like off keys for days. I never had loads. I had like a couple of pairs of stretch jeans. I had a D&G skirt that I really liked and a few bits like t-shirts and like bodysuits, that sort of thing. But the thing that I remember the most was on my 18th birthday, I bought myself this strappy, like string, spaghetti string Moschino dress. And it was like tight fitted and it was short and it had like the sun, the moon, the stars all over it. And I thought I was a bad gal because I just cut my hair and I had the dress on and I was like, hey, look at me, look at me. And I had the white, what do you call it? The white brogues to go, like everything has to be white, and I had a white jacket, and that's what I really remember. That outfit. I tried it on recently, and it still fits, but that's only because it's stretch material.
Yeah.
When did you get your hair cut?
Yes, Auntie AK did my hair for my 18th birthday. She cut it all off. It looked amazing. Yes.
Thank you. Anna.
My first piece was, I did it joint with my bestie Jessica, and we went to Probito on Bond Street, and we saved up £50 each and bought white satin pair of Versace stretch jeans.
Oh, wow.
And that was our absolute best raving trousers. Like one day she would wear it to Samantha's, go in the wash. I would wear it to SW1. It was like, if anybody saw us, yeah, it was grimy. Now I'm thinking about it, but that's how we shared the trousers. One day you could wear it and then I could wear it. And that was my first piece of name brand. And then we saved up again and managed to get another pair of Versace trousers. So Versace
together.
Yeah, together. We shared it the same way. But this time then, when we had two pairs, we could both wear them.
Yeah.
Cool. Auntie Sade.
Yeah, I had, I'm trying to think. The one that comes to mind is, do you remember Ivitsu?
Yeah.
I had an Ivitsu skirt, but not in the traditional, like, people had like the jeans and the white thing. So I had like this skirt that's like, I think it's somewhere. I don't know if maybe one skirt, I'm not too sure. But like, it's kind of like corduroy kind of, but the kind of, the shape, the M, is in pink.
Okay.
I just love that skirt. And I also had some, but my first kind of like made probably Ralph Lauren. Like I had this bag, like a kind of, I don't even know, like it was a very nice bag, and it had like thatching, but all kind of like pale. I was into like pale browns and stuff. Do you know what I mean? Like beiges. It had like that, but then had like pastel colours through it, and I just loved that bag. I really did. And yeah, I just thought I was the girl and I got it in the States as well. So I got that. I think I got the purse as well. So I got a leather Ralph Lauren purse as well. And I don't know. People couldn't chat to me after that. Like I thought I was made. And I must have been in uni, maybe my first uni. So maybe like 19-ish. And I think that was my second holiday that I went to. Actually, maybe that was 9/11 time, you know?
Oh.
I think it might have been that same holiday. It was either that or it was when we went to New York, and that was like the year later or something like that. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, it was just, I just thought, yeah, because all my friends at the time, they were a little bit older than me, and they all were designer. Do you know what I mean? Even my older sister, you know, when I was at home, she would go for Beatos and all that kind of stuff. You know, she had Crazy March. Do you know what I mean? And I never had any of that. So like getting my own was just like, oh, it's amazing. And I remember I got the money because, well, I used to write to charities.
What?
Yes, I know that trick.
And
really? I know the trick, right?
And it gives you money. Yes, I know that trick.
I was in a hostel. I left home. Do you know what I mean? So I had a bit of a story, but I used to write to multiple charities and go on holiday and go shopping.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that trick.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. You can get money.
These are what you learn when you're in a hostel and you're young. You've got to get through.
Yep. The hustle.
That's fair.
Crisis loans as well.
Yeah, crisis.
Yeah, crisis loans, I remember. Definitely. Remember the crisis loans? Yeah.
It used to be tax when they never used to give you enough.
What? Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
Even tonight.
I remember the crisis loan. Okay, so I didn't remember. I couldn't remember that. It literally just popped into my head. So I grew up with a typical mum that was not having it. You're not buying anything that isn't from Clark's, Marks and Spencer's, and that's it. So I suffered through high school when everyone's getting their Adidas torsions and this and that and all that stuff. So mum wasn't buying me a bar of it. So when I did start making money, I remember there was, for some reason, she actually did that. It was like, you're not getting all this name brand stuff. You're going to wear what's good from the high street. But then one day, for some reason, she's like, you know, it's a real signifier of a lady's development that you have an expensive handbag. Mm-hmm. So I was a bit like, okay, this is not what I was brought up with, but okay, because I was a bit of a tomboy. So I don't know if she was trying it, just trying to make me more ladylike. She used to want me to dress like Whitney from Different World, like with shoulder pads and stuff like that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, she wanted that look. Yeah, the suit look all the time for no reason. So I think, there's this Nigerian woman.
Hmm?
No, she wasn't Nigerian. She was Ghanaian. I don't know why she said she was Nigerian. She was Ghanaian. Sorry. There's a Ghanaian woman who was selling handbags and stuff. So my sister went and bought one, and my mum went and bought one, and I went and bought one. But weren't the bags fake? And I remember...
Why would you think it would be real?
Why would you think it would be real? Why? And I think my mum made such a big... No, actually... Sorry, this is a very hazy memory. It's just coming back to me. I don't even know if my mum bought one. And this is the thing. We have to talk to her about this. I think my sister bought one and I bought one. And I remember that I didn't have the whole entire money, but I was using my whatever wages. I can't remember where I was working, probably hairdressers or something, at my Aunties probably. And I was using that money to pay it off. And I remember a woman started to switch and get vexed because I wasn't paying fast enough. So I was like, this whole long con hustle that you're doing of me. And my mum was like, you better go and pay her. And I'm like, but mum, what? Like, she left me out to... I need to get this story really straight. I'm going to actually call my mum today and I'm say, Mum, do you remember that woman? But yeah, that was my first burn of buying something fake, being pressured into buying something.
What was the bag supposed to be?
A Louis Vuitton bag. And the thing is, it did look the part, but it was there was something that was telling like, this ain't real. I think I must have used it, and someone who knew about brands were like, you know, that ain't legit. And so I got banned. That was my first actual thing that I bought.
Sad.
That was name brand, because I really wasn't allowed.
You sewing lines and tigers on your shirt.
Say that again.
I said, were you sewing lines and tigers on your shirt?
I never did that. I didn't, and I've always been like,
inside. See you later.
No. I never did that. I never wanted to fake it either. That's one thing I did.
I'm only joking because of the bag. Because that's I'd be so gutted go somewhere, you've got your bag, you think you're all nice, and someone's like, that's not real, right?
Exactly.
No, it would hurt. It would hurt.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But just in general, just for name brands, I just was like, I didn't mind not having. It was pressure in school, but then after a while, I was a bit like, it doesn't matter. I'm not going to fake it. I'll just get nice garments. And people kind of by association, because of some of the girls, I think some of you lot as well, because you lot had name brands, it kind of covered the ones that didn't. So for girls, I remember speaking to someone like in later life, they're like, I thought you were always in name brands, me. Nah, I just look good. I just look good. I didn't have the name brands.
I have like maybe one piece, one little thing, and then everything else is just normal.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the same as now, no?
Yeah.
Like, you mix it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But people just assumed that we all dressed in name brands, and we definitely didn't. So yeah, wherever that Ghanaian auntie is, I want to know where she is. I don't actually want to know where she is, but she
Oh,
was.
so you thought the person that robbed you, was Nigerian?
No, do you know why? Do you know why? Because there was another. Do you know why?
And the attack continues.
It's not a stereotype. Because you know why?
Oh, that's what came out of your mouth, though.
No, because let me explain. There was an auntie that used to sell things who was
We
Nigerian.
say about in-house arguments, girl.
Exactly. So my point was, there was an auntie that used to sell stuff at my auntie's hairdressers who was Nigerian, and that's who I defaulted to. But it wasn't. It was actually, and that's why I clarified, it was a Ghanaian auntie who did that. Okay, that's why I'm
So
saying.
the Nigerian one didn't sell you.
No, she didn't. I made that very clear that it wasn't. Right, and I wasn't defaulting to stereotype at all. It's not even a stereotype in my wheelhouse. So thank you. That's to be clear. Be very clear to the only Nigerian in the group. I'm very sorry for the implication. It wasn't that. Okay.
Are we moving?
Yeah, we are to sad, mad, glad. What's made you sad, mad, glad this week?
I am sad because I currently have ringing in one ear. It just sounds like this. And in the other ear, I had thumping, and it sounds like this. Burum, 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 burum. So it's very, very hard to concentrate, and it's off-putting, and it makes me feel quite ill and emotional. So I'm sad about that. I am mad that my doctors just palmed me off and said, oh, maybe you should join a support group, without wanting to look into it any further. When I've looked on myself online, and there's other things that they can look for. There's other, sources, especially for the pulsating one. So I'm mad that is their solution. I am glad. I was going to say, I've got two. So I'm glad about this new lovely setup of ours. It's just amazing. It's great. We look fantastic. So yes, my aunties, we are coming a long way, and I love it. And I love you all. So I'm glad about that. And I'm also glad about my dad, because it was his 70th birthday yesterday. And he doesn't look a day over 50. And when we all told him, he was like, yeah, I know, right? That's me.
Go on.
Sorry,
my bad.
Okay, sad. We want to say that again. Still. Mad. I'm not really mad about anything at the moment, to be honest. Other than no, I'm actually not mad about anything. I'm good. Glad I went to just being able to go out, because to be fair, we don't even know how long this is gonna last, I'm so good. But I went to Papa L's dining experience on the weekend, and it was amazing. Like, he's a chef who does, I think, like kind of Pan-African type cuisine, and it's like a tasting menu of 8 courses, and it was absolutely amazing. And I would recommend everyone should go. It was great.
Okay.
Go on.
Sounds lovely.
Tasty.
Sad. So this week I was sad. It was my cousin's 1 week anniversary since she passed.
Oh.
So the family got together in one of our family churches in North London and kind of just did a send-off for her. So that was quite sad, because she was only 58 and she died of a brain tumour.
Oh.
I haven't really been mad at anything, but I was really glad. So on the same event on the Saturday was the first time, I think actually in my life, all of my family was in one place together. So my sister's come over from Ghana. So she was there, my eldest brother, him and his family, me, my sister, and my brother, who were all born here, and my mum and dad, because my dad came along as well. So it was the first time we was all in one space together ever in my life.
Did you
And
take
we didn't get a picture, but it was nice that that's what happened.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I was going to ask, if you've got a picture, because it's great when you can have that. But it's such a nice memory to have, isn't it? All of you in the same space.
My sad, mad, glad is I'm sad. Why am I sad? I don't know if I'm sad. I don't think I've been sad. No. I was mad at the weekend. It wasn't really too stupid, a lot mad, but Black Pound Day was on Saturday, and it brought out lots of stupid trolls, really stupid trolls. And I didn't get mad, but it's just like, again, these dumb people like, this is racist, and just using baseline, really basic cusses and saying like, this is racist. Oh, what if we had White Pound Day? And it's all really exactly. And I had, and it's just, I mean, exactly. It was just really annoying. It's just annoying. And so I was mad about that, but I also then made myself glad because I spent time trolling them back. And I don't normally engage like that, but it was actually quite fun trolling them back. And then I just blocked everybody. Just there was no need to give them all that energy, but just for the split moment, I was glad to just react to them. But and I'm just also glad for this look, and I'm glad for everyone that's watching, and I'm glad that this is going good, man. That's it. Finished.
That's it. Oh no, it's my unpopular opinion.
Oh yes.
Why are you doing that?
Well, I'm so traumatized from last week. That's why.
Oh yeah. Okay. So my unpopular
No. Sorry, I didn't do one.
doesn't matter. My unpopular opinion is that people who insist that I'm missing out on life because I've never watched.
Here we go.
Look at them already. They're coming for me. They're ready. They're sitting up in their seats. People who insist that I'm missing out on life because I haven't watched The Wire or Game of Thrones need to get a life.
Really?
I just don't care. Like, I feel like it's too many seasons have passed. They're both finished now. I don't care. I don't need to watch them. I just don't. There's so many other things that I can watch now. I don't care. I don't care about the cultural references. I don't care. You can just tell me what they are, can't you? I don't need to sit there for 10 million hours catching up on a show that's finished that you all say ended shit. You all say that. So why would I watch it? Watch it. You've already given the story away that it doesn't last as
It's the journey, Auntie Farah. It's the journey.
Can't you just tell me what the journey is? That's cool.
No.
Waste my time
watching.
No. Just tell me. Just give me the cliff notes, and I'll be good.
And on that note, thank you guys for watching Your Aunties Could Never. This is episode 28. I guess everyone should say bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Can we play the outro?
Yeah. Bye, guys.
Can you do bad boy?
Yeah, just do that one.
I'm sitting on a bad boy piece of information. I'm sitting on a bad boy piece of information. I'm sitting on a bad boy piece.